Hello, everyone. It is December 3rd, 2024. Today I was thinking this is a story about when my nemesis passed away. This is an actual person, a patient that I used to work with. I used to work at a medical facility. I was the operations manager, and this was one of our patients. She would come in multiple times a week, and she was very dissatisfied with her treatment there. But she went about complaining in a very erratic, very aggressive kind of way. Once I found out she was dissatisfied with her treatments, I went to go talk to her to see if there was anything we could do on our end to make her experience a little bit better. She was extremely aggressive with me, absolutely aggressive with me, standoffish, and she would cut me out of the conversation right away. She did not want to speak with me. I tried to approach her again a couple weeks later, hoping things would die down, but she would be laying down and she would always cover herself with a blanket, pretending to be asleep. She would speak to staff members and state that actually wanted my job. She was going to take it. She was recently retired, but she was going to come back, and she had qualifications because she worked at FEMA and had many employees underneath her. And according to her, nothing ever went wrong at FEMA. It was like the most efficient organization in all of America. And of course, if you look up FEMA, just do a quick Google search, you will know that is absolutely not the case. I'm sure FEMA does a lot of fantastic things, but they've been called out by a lot of government officials and a boatload of civilians over and over and over again for their inadequate, slow responses to emergencies. Anyway, this isn't really about that. And again, I'm sure FEMA does some fantastic things for people. They've been around for a long time, but she made it look like, hey, I work for this organization. Therefore, anything you say is irrelevant because I'm so much higher than you on the totem pole. That was her outlook. And she would mention that to absolutely everyone. And she would complain to the directors in my vicinity. She would just send out faxes to each office about me. So it was borderline harassing. It was harassment, actually. And she started writing the state that we were living in, and she would write the mayor email. She would write the CEO, my CEO, who has 40,000 employees underneath him, about me personally. But she would write the mayor, and she wrote the mayor, and the state kind of came in and had a laundry list of things, dates, and details about her lack of service. And we pulled up the dates, and the dates she referenced, they would talk about things like internet went out, lighting went out. We'd have a big water room, which was part of our treatment facility. If something happened with that, and she blamed all of this on me, and the state was a little bit weirded out because I was sure a lot of pretty much anything that happened would be blamed on me. And the dates she would complain about, I noticed they were on dates that she actually didn't treat. So she would speak to somebody about that. And the dates that she did come in, we were asked to pull up a lot of things on her, and all of our treatments were fine, A-okay. So the state was just kind of a little bit weirded out. They suggested that I give them a code of conduct rule and highlight the harassment part of it. I never got a chance to do this because she died. When people die, I don't think it's necessarily good to badmouth them. I never really felt the need to, but we do recall calling her son because she was getting treated at a hospital just so we would have that information for our records. And he was very rude, just like she was. Very rude and very angry, and wouldn't give us any information, even though it would have helped us, assuming that she got out of the hospital. But she passed away, and I couldn't help but feel bad for it to some degree. I know she had a new grandkid. I knew she had a vacation planned to go to Hawaii for a week with her family. She wasn't planning on passing away, and she wasn't really that old. So I felt bad for her in that way. I felt bad for her family as well, especially now. We're going through the holidays. And it must be tough because this would be the first holidays, I believe, that they are without her. So that can't feel good. But by the same token, what this person tried to do to me, I'm just bringing up making a long story short, was nonstop. It was very personal, it was very mean-spirited, and she kept on going on and on and on. And she would laugh about things when I got stressed out, so on, etc. She would take great joy in seeing me kind of squirm underneath everything. She would take great joy in telling absolutely everyone, whether it's other patients or staff members, that I was scared of her. She would take great joy in my downfall. She really, really did. So in that sense, I look at her as being a horrible, miserable person. Goodbye and good riddance. And the fact that her son seems to have a lot of that carry over with him, that same attitude, I really wanted to send him a message, just stating that his mom was a horrible human being, a demonstrably horrible human being, a piece of dog shit. And even lower than that, I mean, just a fucking piece of shit human. Again, maybe she did a lot of good things in her life. Maybe a lot of people loved her. I'm sure they did. She had a big family. But I do know there's certain lines you don't cross with people. And another thing that was frustrating about it is when we would talk to her, we would even offer her other locations that were even closer to her house or adjacent to us that she could treat at, but she refused to do it because she was going to work. She was going to take my job. That's what she would tell everybody. And that was frustrating as well, because if you're so dissatisfied, why don't you just up and leave? You had plenty of opportunity to do so. But she wouldn't. She was like, her retired hobby was making my life difficult. That's all it was. That was what she looked forward to. For that, I think she's a minuscule person. I mean, I look at her. She's always been a disgustingly overweight, very unattractive, miserable human being. And I hope, and I think that made her feel good, is like really like pecking away at people. I looked her up online, and she had done this previously with a number of things. There are 2 news articles with her name on it because she would complain so much and really like blow things out of proportion. So part of me is torn. What do I do? Do I write this letter to her son knowing that he carries that horrible legacy and that he was an asshole as well? Do I leave it alone because she has passed away? And how should I feel about it? Should I mourn that loss or kind of celebrate it? Because I felt nothing. I acted like I was a little bit upset about it, but really I'm not. And I kind of feel bad about that. Who knows? Anyway, that's the story of when my nemesis died.